About to jump into the very first draft, my very first draft anyway, of this new format. Thanks to Wizards of the Coast for inviting me to the early access event, which is where I'm recording this if you're watching it on YouTube, and what I'm streaming it from if you're watching on Twitch. Also a reminder, Card Kingdom sponsors my content, so check out their store. You can go to cardkingdom.com/needsahone or click on the logo in the description on YouTube, and you can pre-order all They All Will Be One there is. So go ahead and jump on in. All right. Well, okay. So the Filigree Silex I think is fine, but I don't think it's great. It's not really a rare I want to first pick. It is a hard card to evaluate, and I guess I could... It's early access, so we could be crazy and take it and take everything with counters, but I imagine in a format like this one, where you sort of need to add real things to the board, it's a little dangerous. Yeah, and Minor Misstep, not playable and limited. Transplant Theorist is pretty nice. Bladehold Warwhip is pretty nice. I mean, you know, starting with Signpost Uncommon, you have a less of a chance of playing it than a monocolored card, but it is a good one, and it may be where I go. The rest of this pack's not amazing. There's lots of fine cards in it. We do have a couple of equipment things we could wheel, which I wouldn't hate. So I think I'd probably go with the Warwhip here. I don't really want, you know, the Silex is just so, like, super conditional removal that takes time to get going. And then, yeah, if I hit a critical mass or proliferate and stuff, it can go crazy, but... Okay, well, this pack has two more Signpost Uncommons, and I think Charforger is particularly good. It's, like, real good. You know, it just has a great rate, and then if you get oil counters on it, it does crazy stuff. You know, Oxida Finisher is an equipment thing, but it's not, like, amazing. You know, I would obviously play it in my equipment deck, but, you know. I do like the Hive Master. Like, I think that's a card you first pick sometimes in this format. Terramorphic Expanse always kind of on the table, but I think I'm going to take another Signpost. I just think the Forger's too good. I do like the Chimera too, but I think the Forger's even better. So, you know, maybe we pick up some fixing and play both. Although, in the case of the Warwhip, if we don't end up base red-white, it's not nearly as good. Like, Charforger's going to be good in basically any deck. Bladehold Warwhip really needs us to have some equipment to fully get there. Alright, so this is a horrible rare and limited. You know, it's a card I know people are excited about in Constructed, but Steer Clear and limited. You know, using up cards for discounts, not actually that good in limited. Like, believe it or not, if you're not playing in Cube or something degenerate, like Dark Ritual, not that good in limited. And this is worse than Dark Ritual, so... We probably want Volt Charge. It's a great removal spell. It has Proliferate, which is good with our Charforger. I do like this. Batterfist, okay. I think it's going to end up being a pretty nice common for all the red decks. But, yeah. I think this is just the best card in the pack. So very happy that it's in red. So, yeah. The thing about first picking the Warwhip that maybe wasn't ideal is, like I said... Like, I could splash this in any black X or red X deck and be reasonably happy with it. Not so true about the Warwhip, which kind of has to be in red-white or it's not that great. Okay. Well, Cinder/Ravager is another Signpost. I don't think it's on the same level as Charforger, certainly. Maybe it's around the Warwhip level. I do like Hexgold Halberd in basically any red deck. And it also happens to be an equipment, so if we ended up in red-white, it would work out okay for us. I do like Shrapnel Slinger a decent amount as well, but I think we take the Halberd. It's a great 2-drop in a format where I think they matter. So, I mean, they always matter, but this format looks very, very... and it's true of almost all formats lately. Even like Dominaria United, you kind of had to get on board early, but you could build these crazy slow decks, which was cool. So here's Prophetic Prism. Could set up some fixing nonsense if we really wanted to take it. There's also this Justicar, which I think is going to be a nice 2-drop for like aggressive artifact decks. Mirrodin Bardiche. Miron Bardiche isn't especially good. Chronicler is an okay rare, but nothing special. I think we're looking at like Skywarden or Prism here. Skywarden's probably just where I'm going to go. You know, Vraska's Fall I don't think is particularly good. Edicts, most of them just don't pan out, and this one's especially bad in a world where there's all these might tokens. At least the other one in the format can force them to sack a non-creature? That's not something we're doing here. That's not something that card can do. Okay. Well, we got the black-red rare, which isn't, like, incredible, but it has a great stat line, and we can cash in artifacts that aren't really doing anything anymore. Like, it's kind of cool that, you know, for example, I could play Hexgold Halberd, and the Vermeerden thing happens. I could sack the Halberd, hold on to my 2/2, and grab a thing, although it has to cost 1, so that's not the best example I've ever had. But I think we go ahead and take Kethek, and probably means we're going black-red if we can help it here. I am really curious to see if this works. Like, you usually have to have like a dedicated reanimator deck or these things don't work, but this one has me really intrigued because we don't usually see these at lower rarities that let you reanimate an opposing creature from their graveyard, and then it has Proliferate, which matters. So we've also got Hazardous Blast and Offer Immortality. I think we'll probably would like Hazardous Blast. Oh, is it only creature? I think you're right. So never mind. That plan doesn't work. I think I'm going to try Vat Emergence just because I want to. May not actually be the best pick there, but... Okay, so here I think I'll take a Hazardous Blast. We do have a couple of decent white cards here, but if we can get an aggressive curve going, I think Hazardous Blast is going to work in our deck. Kethek is fine and limited. I mean... The worst case is that it's a 4-mana 4/4, and then it has some real value. So it does have to sack creatures, as we said. So, okay. So now I guess we're going to grab a Lightbringer and see what happens. There is a chance we shift back into red-white, I guess. Yeah, with -1 mana value. That's true. That is true. You know, with aura removal in this set, that's probably the sweetest thing you end up doing with Kethek. You know, like your opponent puts the pacifism or the dehydration on your creature. You play Kethek, sack it, and grab a new thing. Okay, so Oxida Finisher came back, which is intriguing. We also have this thing that puts oil counters on stuff. Another Hazardous Blast. I think I grabbed the Finisher. And we probably consider shifting into red-white. Like, we're getting the pieces for red-white late here. And as good, even though I think Charforger is, like, better. Not really likely to play either of these. And because this is early access and I'm not going to get gems for taking a rare eventually, probably just grab, like, Eye of Malcator here. Yeah, that Skull Bomb is an interesting one because it is so focused. All right, so I think we're interested in this trick. We could take the equipment, but it's so... That one's so mediocre that I'd rather take Free from Flesh. So we're not doing amazing on having a low curve here. All right, we'll take the Bardiche now. And I do think we want one, given what we're trying to do anyway. Another Lightbringer. I mean, you know, maybe we end up in a red-white equipment deck in the end. This pack is much stronger than our actual pack 1 pick 1. So Zealot, I think, is really good in the Infect decks. Rebel Salvo is amazing in every red deck. And, yeah, so there are 2 cards here that are, like, very first pick. Well, there's also Contagious Vorak, which is maybe the best common in the set. So, very good pack. We take Rebel Salvo. It'll be played in any of our decks. And it has affinity for equipment, and we have equipment. So, you know, that's where we're going to go. Yeah. So, kind of feels like this is more open. And the black-red deck we were sort of trying to make happen is not... If that's true, I mean, I think we might try to splash Charforger. But other than that, I think we would cut, you know, Kethek and Vat Emergence. I don't think either of those work out super well. So we need to pick up... We just saw one in that pack, actually. The 2-mana... the other 2-mana for Mirrodin equipment, the one at common, that makes a 3/1, basically. Like, we need that to really get things going for us. There's another Cinder Slash Ravager. So here's what I was talking about. I do like Barbed Batterfist a fair bit as a 2-drop. especially given that we have several equipment payoffs already. Canker Bloom's pretty good. Orthodoxy Enforcer is probably not going to be bad in our deck, but we need to lower our curve, and this is a good way to do it when we have, what, 4 equipment payoffs now? So, yeah, we definitely want the Batter Fist. Kind of hope I don't have to play the Bardiche, like, you know, just playing the good. The good for Mirrodin equipment is where you want to be, I think. And this one, I mean, you'll probably play it sometimes. Like, if I get several more equipment payoffs, I probably think about it. But as things stand now, I don't think I do. Okay, so here's another War Whip. I think it's pretty hard for me not to take it. It gets really good in multiples. We've already got a lot of equipment and equipment payoffs. This pack's actually great for us in general in, like, a bad way because it has so many things in it that I want. So Skrelv is quite good. Hexgold Hover Wings is an equipment payoff. It may wheel. Planar Disruption is great removal. So all of these are cards we would want in our deck. I could maybe think about taking the monocolored card and hoping the War Whip wheels. But I just think the War Whip is so good, given what our deck is looking like, that I'd probably just grab it. Autonomous Furnace, that's a thing. I don't hate Forge Hammer Centurion or Charge of the Mites. You know, this can be a removal spell. This can make things unable to block. I like both of those things the way our deck looks right now. Can also make Mites, which is nice. I think I like Charge of the Mites a little bit more. Having a removal mode is good. Yeah, I think the Spheres will play well. The only thing I'm really disappointed about is I like it when there's more of like a land sub theme going on, where like you have a payoff for having these land subtypes. Sort of like we saw in Dominaria United, and like we've seen in Kaldheim with snow, and like we saw in Amonkhet with deserts. I was kind of hoping they'd do that, but it's really not there. There's like 1 or 2 rares that care about it. So I'd probably take Crawling Chorus. Lightbringer's nice, but from what we've seen, I think we'll just wheel it. I don't hate Terramorphic Expanse, but Charforger, you know, it's not that important to me that it makes our deck, frankly, the way things have shifted here. So So Against All Odds is interesting with all of our equipment because we can make another token with it, and then we can reanimate something. Like, that's a thing. I'd probably just take Forge Hammer Centurion, though. Yeah, we have 4 equipment right now, which I think is more than enough to play Oxida Finisher and enough to upgrade a bunch of our cards. Another Charforger. You're going to do that to me? Man. Makes me wish I'd taken the fixing, you know, the Terramorphic Expanse. We've got plenty of artifacts. Well, maybe not plenty. I think I'm probably grabbing another Charforger here, and we're going to see if we can make it work. Okay, so this is an equipment payoff that's not bad. I think we probably take it over all this other stuff that doesn't fit in our deck anyway. So, thank you for the follow, Ink Architect. All right, so I think we grab Batter Fist over another Lightbringer. We need the equipment, and it's a 2-drop, so I'm down with it. It's kind of wild that these Charforgers, especially the second one, was around as late as it was, but Black-Red just doesn't feel very open. I guess we'll stick this in the deck for now. I don't think it's going to stay in, though. All right, so bad removal. You know, decent artifact that does some You know, you could cycle it or whatever, or a creature that kind of likes equipment. I think I like the Enforcer a little more. We'll take Thrill. I don't think we play it, though. We don't really want more than one Hazardous Blast. Yeah, so we get a free Autonomous Furnace. I imagine we run it. Thanks for watching the videos, Ink Architect. I think Atmosphere Surgeon is probably better than a card that should be there that late, and I think that's true of Bring the Ending too, but, you know, ooh. Man, there are some things in this pack. All right, so Zealot's not going to be amazing in our deck because we're not doing that much Infect, but it is a very good card. Atrax's Skitterfang is really good, and I also love Duelist of Deep Faith. Zealous Conviction's a great combat trick, even if we don't have that much in the way of getting corrupted. And then we have Terramorphic Expanse and Prophetic Prism, which would help us potentially play like Charforger. I think we take Skitterfang in the end. Yeah, it's just a great card. You know, it gives you a buff every turn for the first few turns, and we do have a lot of 3-drops. It's true. Look at that. Okay. What do we have here? So we have Planar Disruption, which I think is really good. For some reason, it's not... They aren't letting me hover over them correctly so that you can actually see them. That's cool for you guys. Weird. There we go. Of course this is happening. So it's not letting me select things. I guess I can keep talking. There's only a few things that it's interested in letting me select. So I would probably take Planar Disruption here if it would let me. It's not letting me, so I think we're going to grab Swooping Lookout. That's not exactly where you want to be. Where it doesn't actually let you take the thing you want. This pack's working correctly, so there was some fluke there. I don't hate Magmatic Sprinter, though, without oil counter stuff, so I don't love it. I do love Cacophony Scamp with equipment, though. Gives us another low drop. So I would have taken the 2-mana removal spell there if I could have. Taking this isn't bad, but it's not great either. There were only like 4 cards in that pack I could select. Yeah, I think swapping to View screwed it all up. I think you're probably right. So Furnace Punisher is a great aggressive creature. Flesh Cutter is going to be interesting. It seems a little too clunky, and it doesn't have Mirrodin, which is a bummer. I don't hate Furnace Strider, but I think we'll grab Furnace Punisher here. I think our deck, you know, is going to be a good test of the equipment deck overall. Like, is this going to work? I would still like some more 2s for sure. Don't know that we're going to get them. Gleeful Demolition's interesting. You know, we could use it to blow something up that we don't really need anymore and get 3/1/1s or blow up an opposing artifact. I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's probably what I want to take here. So a more aggressive Curve would probably have been nice, but other than that, I think we've done a pretty solid job on getting an equipment deck. It's a little bit of a bummer that we don't get to play Charforgers, but, you know, okay. So we do get another low drop here that I like in Crawling Chorus. Don't really like Sawblade Scamp or Axiom Engraver in this particular deck. Crawling Chorus I do like. Probably better in like an Infect deck, of course, but, you know. Blowing up equipment isn't actually that good in this format because most of it... Ooh, we get a Hex Gold Hover Wings. Nice. It buffs all our equipped creatures, and it's a nice card anyway, so I'm glad to get one here. But most of the equipment comes with tokens, so if you blow up the equipment, you're usually not getting a card of value. But there are artifacts that are worth destroying, you know, like Atrax's Skitterfang, for example. And sometimes you got to blow up equipment, but, you know... Ooh, so we do get a nice trick here late. Yep, definitely what I want to take. It's going to be better. You know, our Crawling Choruses have Toxic, but most of our stuff doesn't. But This will still be a pretty good trick. It's not as good if you don't have Corrupted, obviously. I'll have to think about it. Ooh. Definitely want Duelists of Deep Faith here. So things are coming together pretty good late here. Oh, yeah, I could blow up my own equipment. Yeah, like, that's true. Do I want another Autonomous Furnace? I mean, I don't think I really want the Skull Bomb or the Mere Custodian, so I guess so. I may have so many 1-drops that I really only want to run one Furnace. I think that's probably the case. Yeah. Yep, we have... Blowing up Mites is another nice way to use the card. Alright, I'll take Annihilating Glare. So yeah, we ended up in a pretty synergistic red-white deck. Vanish might make the main deck, but I kind of doubt it. We have plenty of good removal. We'd have more if I could have taken that pacifism effect, but, you know. It's whatever. These things happen, especially in early access, understandably, since they, like, run everything out there. Part of early access is usually finding bugs like that. Oh yeah, it would have been crazy in the last set if we had the Glee, for sure. All right, got a few cuts to make. Probably among our 3-drops. I don't think Forge Hammer Centurion is great in our deck. You know, we're not sacrificing things mostly. It is nice when you can use its ability, and things will just die naturally, but I feel like it's a little too slow for what I'm trying to do here. We're not great at using Free From Flesh, but I kind of think it might be better than Zealot's Conviction in this deck, since we're not going to be getting corrupted very effectively. Running these equipment payoff things is worth the experiment, I think. I'm curious to see especially whether the Lightbringer is actually solid. Pretty sure the Aspirant is, but... How many artifacts do we have in the end? We've got 8 if we don't cut any. So I think that means Orthodoxy Enforcer is fine. Do I want both of these Ogres? I mean, this one's going to be... 5 mana is going to be easy. 4, I think, is possible in this deck. They're both fine. I think I'd probably leave them in. Yeah, I don't love Zealot's Conviction here. It's an okay trick without Corrupted, but Free From Flesh is mostly just going to be better. Charge of the Mites is an okay removal spell, but we do have plenty of other removal. And we're not that good at taking advantage of Mites. So, I'm considering cutting it over some of this other stuff. I mean, if you took Proliferate off of Volt Charge, it would be a card you always play in Limited. So, it's definitely not. So, but you're right, we're not going to be proliferating and getting value for the most part. Question is whether I want, like, Hazardous Blast, or do I just want... We have way more creatures than it looks like we do, because all of these equipment are creatures also, by the way. I may cut Demolition. I think holding on to these other things is... Yeah. I don't think Demolition's that good here. If we had, like, a lot of Mites, and if I was playing Black-Red, then I would probably be more interested, but... Do I just want to cut the Blast? Do I really need it to push damage through? I kind of doubt it. Charge gotta go. You're crazy, man. Assuming you're talking about Volt Charge. Is there another charge? You're talking about Charge of the Mites, maybe? Okay, well, that makes sense. There are 2 charges. This one, I think, is on the chopping block. It's either it or the Blast as our last cut here. Blast is just so much more conditional that I don't love it. I think we're fine with 2 choruses, yeah. I mean, we just don't have enough low drops basically, and kind of have to leave them in. Yeah, I think we leave charge in. The fact it can be a removal spell and everything, I think makes me hesitant to cut it. Modal removal, that's like reasonably efficient, tends to be pretty nice. Thank you for the follow, Renaud Marshall and Sergeant Blast and IFRYT 2020. I thought Brothers War was good. I did a video on it on my channel. I think I had it at the very top of like the second tier of the Arena era. Yep, for Mirrodin cards, attach the equipment to themselves. That is correct. That's what makes them so nice. All right, looks solid. Have a couple of artifacts. We've got an Orthodoxy Enforcer, which would be pretty crazy with the halberd on it in the later part of the game. Got our Charge of the Mites. Looks good. Terramorphic Expanse. Wonder what I'm going to lead with. Doesn't really matter because I hold on to the value of the equipment. It's more likely this can rumble effectively on the next turn, so I probably play Halberd on turn 2. Yeah, the board is very interesting. I didn't pay much attention to the lore, but clearly Elesh Norn made a bunch of monsters out of her own flesh. So her opponent's doing some sort of maybe multi... No, thought maybe they were going hard multicolor. But they grabbed... If they were, they probably wouldn't have grabbed another thing. It's a bit of a bummer to draw Swooping Lookout when we did, but hey. So let's play our Halberd. It's an interesting animation for that. So next turn we can play Lookout and Batterfist. And then this is going to come down as a 4/4 Vigilance, which is going to be pretty nice. Got removal in our back pocket too, so some more equipment. Alright, so let's attack. For Mirrodin always makes a 2/2, but the equipment that attaches to it enhances it. So, for example, this is basically going to make a 3/1. Playing Hexgull Hoverwings next turn might be pretty spicy. Instead of Orthodoxy Enforcer. This animation is weird to me because it makes me feel Phyrexian-y about it. Like the way it like hisses. Doesn't seem very rebelled against the Phyrexians to me. So we're having a fast start and our opponent isn't, which I think probably bodes well for us. Again, I don't follow the lore, but hearing like a weird hissing sound. Is the idea, flavor-wise, that they like repurposed Living Weapon from the Phyrexians and made it their own thing? Maybe then it makes sense. Flincing Raptor. Okay, so I definitely think we play Hexgull Hoverwings here. And, yeah, because it'll buff both of these, give us a great attack. So I could also just kill this and attack, but I feel like it's just way better to do this. So what's great with this equipment... Oh, they're just going to take a big hit. I like it. What's great with this equipment is if they did trade, I still hold on to the equipment, absurdly enough. So they could be planning on toxicking us out, I guess. I mean, obviously, that's what Green-White's archetype is, but they didn't have an aggressive curve, which I think you need. Like, 1-drop, 2-drop with Infect Flincing Raptor is tough to beat in a lot of scenarios, but that's not what they did. So either they got a poor hand or they don't have a low curve. My deck is very vulnerable to artifact hate. Although, again, hold on to all these tokens, even if they nuked every artifact on the table right now. So did they put that on the... No, they put it on Okay. Well, there is a pretty nasty trick in this format that could be a problem. Like, if I try to remove Flensing Raptor here ahead of my attack, it is pretty nice if it succeeds. I think we're gonna go for it. I think it's a good option. So, yep, I think they have a trick to save it, but the fact is they don't really... They stop my card trade 1-for-1, but they're not adding to their board. Okay, so killing something in response doesn't break my heart. And this is so cheap to equip that I can just stick it right here and attack them for 6. Okay. Well, I think that probably means we move the Batter Fist. Yeah, so I think we move the Batter Fist to this creature. Then we move the that to my creature. And I think we just attack with it, because otherwise they can block, and that's not super ideal. I mean, they can still block here, but that's all they can do. They could block and kill my Lookout and go to 1, which I don't think is really worth it. So, okay, well that is interesting. And then we will move this back to Swooping Lookout. They are at 1, which I like. So this is an example, like, Planar Disruption removing our token, like, it stinks, but we still have this thing. So, spot removal like Planar Disruption, probably a little worse in the format in a world where you're for Mirrodinning. But that's kind of true of all spot removal. And that's what makes these for Mirrodin cards pretty nice. They all leave something behind. Alright, they have 2 flying blockers now, which I'm not loving. Okay, so I think we move this again. And attack them. Good news is I can play out these things in the second main phase. I think we kill the Apostle. Our token goes away. Yeah. Alright, so... yeah, we'll play out the Enforcer here. Put the Batter Fist here again. End our turn. They're trying to stabilize at 1 here. Which is less than ideal for me. So, like, if they play removal here, theoretically, it'll take most of their turn. And I should be in pretty good shape to attack effectively next turn, but we'll see. Alright, they've got a Skitterfang. So they can give lifelink, which is annoying. I definitely block. Do I? No, I don't. I think we probably just take the hit if they gave lifelink. They decided not to do anything. Oh, hello. Well, this makes things even easier. So we play War Whip. We give this flying. We equip the halberd. I guess here. Yeah. I could give double strike instead. No, I can't. So, who do I want to give this to? I guess probably the Lookout. Makes both of them very hard to block. Alright, so we got there. That last life took a long time. Like, we started that game really fast, drove them down very low on life, and then it took us, like, I don't know, 6 turns to do the last damage. But we definitely felt the equipment synergy and the value of Firmirid in there, which, you know, small sample size, but 1 game in, it feels about how I expected. Alright, seems solid enough. I wonder whether this is a 16 land deck. I sort of felt like with all the equipment activated abilities, I probably wanted to go deeper than 16 lands, but... Alright, so we get to go Batterfist, turn 2, Skitterfing, turn 3, give it flying, hit them for 3, play Hover Wings, give this flying again, hit them for 4, potentially. There's a Volt Charge. Which we can actually make use of Proliferate. I wonder whether I just want to kill this thing because, I kind of hate the idea of my life getting drained when we're an aggro deck. It's not massive. There's not a massive chance of it happening this next turn, but it could definitely happen. So, I think we just play the Skitterfing, though. Yeah, we also get the value of Proliferate, which is nuts. That is true. And then we also have Tricks to back it up next turn. So, if they Proliferate here, I'm going to be mad, but... let them, I guess. See, I mean, bouncing that is a thing, but it's not that good of value, frankly. You know... So... I actually think I'm just going to attack on the ground here, and if they block, use Free from Flesh to get some more oil. And then play Hover Wings. Although, I can play Hover Wings. No, this costs 1 to equip. So I can't buff that this turn. Alright, so let's go to combat. I'm not going to do a thing. I'm going to attack. Alright, so this is going to be pretty nice because the only downside is I can't also play Hover Wings. Which is sad, but I think I can live with it. The oil counter is nice. And then I can Volt Charge whatever they play at the end of their turn. Yeah, the Skitterfing can use its effect on itself. I think we pass to leave up Volt Charge here. Okay. We don't hate people paying life. That's for sure. So this next turn, we can hit really hard with the Skitterfing. Because we go... Batterfist. Hover Wings. I think we probably go for it with Lifelink here. Next turn, I can give them both flying and attack for 7, and Volt Charge almost finishes the job. That is annoying, though. Freaking Malcator's Watcher. It blocks very nicely for them here. So it's a question of whether Volt Charge is worth using. Yeah. I can move the Batter Fist, but I have to move it to this. So it doesn't really matter if I do or don't. So yeah, I think we go to combat here. We will remove an oil counter. I'm going to go for lifelink again. All right. Now we play Crawling Chorus. Thank you for the sub, Lord Waffles. And do I want to move the Hover Wings? I don't think so. I think there's probably more value to be had with leaving up Volt Charge. All right. They don't get any value out of proliferating here, which I like. I wonder whether they made it so your opponent's stuff isn't automatically highlighted by proliferate, because if they... That was sort of a bummer last time, where if you were a new player and didn't notice that it was highlighting your opponent's stuff, you accidentally gave their thing a counter. I was kind of hoping it would happen there, but, you know. Interesting. They have so much mana up. Which I don't like. I don't think I want to use Volt Charge with that much mana up. Three. This costs 3 to move. Okay. Don't really need to move it, though, is the thing. Yeah, so let's go to combat. We're not going to bother with an oil counter here. I think we're going to hold on to them. And we'll attack with both of these and see what happens. Okay, I like it. They go down to 4, and we have Volt Charge in our hand. We also just poisoned someone for the first time. Not that our deck is particularly good at taking advantage of that, but... I don't understand what they have. They had that much mana and didn't do anything with that turn. Seems like I should have just gotten in with the Skitterfing too, huh? Ah... This is going to be funny, but I'm going to Volt Charge my own creature so they don't get it and they don't make a copy. So... And then they're dead on our turn. Yes, I would like to Volt Charge my own creature. Let's give them another poison counter. All right. Very Phyrexian of me, yeah, I guess so. It's pretty funny when Volt Charge your own creature is the game-winning play. Yeah, 2 for 1 yourself before they 3 for 1 you. That's a good plan. I mean, I think we were probably still okay because on our turn... Well, I guess not, because they would have been able to gain life. I don't know. It may not have really mattered with them at low life, but... It's funny to win the game by Volt Charging your own creature, though, to make the scoop happen. Only red mana, but we can sort of make do with red mana. I think we probably keep it. We're also on the draw, so hitting white is pretty likely by the time we need it. Although having it on turn 1 would obviously be ideal. We can still play Batter Fist, so it's a keep. It's not an amazing keep, but especially when you're on the draw and you're like 1 planes away from a really good hand, it's probably worth a keep. Like 1 card away. One card that you have many copies of away. Darn, we didn't draw planes yet. Drew another white card. We haven't actually gotten these yet, have we? It does kind of feel like so far equipping your stuff that isn't just your 4 Mirrodin creatures doesn't come up that much. Like if things are going well, it doesn't really come up because you kill people before it matters. So maybe something like Lightbringer is unnecessary. Yeah, I think that thing can be a pretty real problem at some point. We did get removal for it that we will be able to cast for a discount, but if you can kill it before it can cash in oil counters, it's not too much of a problem, but come on, Plains. I need you. Not gonna love it if they leave up mana here, because I can't really attack and use my trick. Although, I guess attacking with the Rebel is probably fine anyway. Yeah, it's not the first time they've designed equipment like this. Obviously, there was Living Weapon, and then there's been... What was it in Kaldheim that they had a whole cycle of equipments that made a creature token and equipped? It wasn't like a mechanic. It didn't have a mechanic word, but it was a big part of it. Oh, big's an exaggeration. It was part of that format that came up regularly. I mean, I think a lot of this equipment is costed sort of similarly to Kaldheim. Yeah, I don't really think I want to use Free from Flesh or Rebel Salvo. I think I attack here. I think I'm okay with trading the token. I don't love it as we continue to be unable to draw white mana, but... Oh yeah, you paid extra for the token is what it was. Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think they're about to do something anyway. Maybe. We have ourselves some mana problems here for the first time today. Yeah, Zendikar Rising had the equipment that all came with a free equip. That was a nice design too. Probably a bounce spell. There's no way you want to bounce. You don't want to bounce my Batter Fist. That much I can tell you. Because I get another 2/2 if you do that. All right. So we're not exactly having the kind of start we want this time. Which probably doesn't bode well. I mean, I think this is a deck that needs to get ahead early, and our inability to really add anything to the board here is a problem. Bounce. I mean, bounce on Phyrexia, then you can see it as a downside, but it's also not that good. Because they spend a whole card to take away like half of your card. Because the token, I mean, it depends on the card. Like for Bard Batterfist, the token is probably like 3/4 of the card, but they're still not taking away a whole card, you know, and they're not getting that much tempo either. They're getting a little, but Yeah. I really need to draw white mana. We have a pretty good chance to do it. It's bound to happen eventually, you know? No attack. Are you going to leave up 3 blue mana? Are we both color screwed? Seems possible. Plains. Not a plains, but it is another nice equipment, which I can live with. We can also still leave up Rebel Salvo. I'm guessing we're both color screwed here. And I'm guessing they have counter magic and or a bounce spell that they've been considering using. They're probably blue-red if you're running Atmosphere Surgeon. So definitely not, like, if they block, we can't really use a trick unless we want to get blown out. We just let the trade happen. There's no way we want to do anything differently than that. Alright, so they use the bounce. They do get Proliferate here, which does mean now their Surgeon has 2 counters, which I don't love. So yeah, now we'll play the Halberd. Rebel Salvo is available for 1 mana. If we had gotten white mana in this game, I think we basically would have won by now. But our opponent also having mana problems, of course. We may have to kill this with our salvo at some point, because if they can just put somebody on the board and start getting flying going, I don't think we're going to be very happy. So they could give this flying and attack us. I'm not entirely sure why they haven't attacked us now that I think about it. Like, when I was attacking them, they could have gotten in for 2 free damage. At least once. Okay, now they are going to attack. Makes sense. We will not be blocking. So their second color is almost definitely red. Does feel like they're having a similar start to us, where they're just like, well, I can cast some of my stuff, but not all of it. If I fail to draw another plains here and don't draw something else I can play, I'd probably put the Batter Fist on the Halberd. Yeah, Crawling Chorus does have really creepy art. I am with you. Okay, Ichor Synthesizer. Do I want to salvo something? So there is one card, the 1 blue mana +1/+3 trick that would save them. Oh no, it wouldn't. Rebel Salvo still gets the job done. I think we're gonna fire it off here. Just a question of what I use it on. Probably the Surgeon. Yeah, let's give that a try. Or don't. Uh-oh. Seems we've frozen up on our Rebel Salvo. My God. What's it gonna do? Waiting for the server. Ah, I see. Looks to me like we're probably donezo in this game, based on how long that took me. Well, things could have gotten a lot worse there. Oh, I should have moved the equipment. I must have had, like, the maximum amount of time available. Otherwise, this obviously wouldn't have worked out. So we did miss a turn, and now it's their turn, and I'm just going to let these hit me. I did draw the planes. Damn. That's pretty funny. Okay, well, we're going to get some nice value here. Nice. So they do get an oil counter. I'm really surprised they made it back in time. That felt like 5 minutes or something. The planes is here, which is awesome. We're going to move this equipment. Actually, I can do better than that. So let's play Blade Hold War Whip. Yeah, it's a very winnable situation because they missed their land drop on their free turn. So, works surprisingly well. They hit their planes finally too, so they're not blue-red like I thought they may be. We have two very good attackers here. All right, this thing. Curious to see how this card fares. I feel like in the blue-white aggro deck, it's going to be something you play, which is, I guess, what they are. They just had a rough time. I mean, they did play Aspirant's Ascent, a tempo card like Serum Snare, so it's definitely possible. I think you're right that them being kind of slow helped us because we'd saved up so many timeouts that it was like, okay. So when this gets a 4, it needs 4 oil counters. So I don't really need to be worried about getting buffed here. Alright, so we're going to take 1. How much damage can I actually do here if I go... So right now, I could move this. Yeah, we definitely move... It's free to move right now, so we definitely want to move Barbed Batterfist to the Double Striker. So we can do 8. We can actually do 12 right now with Free from Flesh, which is pretty sweet, but not quite what we want to do. I think we just hit them hard here, and that's that. It's not lethal, unfortunately, but it is a lot of damage. Aspirant has Menace. Lightbringer has Ward, so it's harder to kill. I could play Aspirant and Chorus. That's probably just better. Don't think I move any equipment right now. Right now, though, I can move things to this for 2 less mana, which is pretty awesome. Don't think we do it yet, though. We don't really have any equipment that I could have moved there that actually would have been helpful on defense, so... Alright. See, this is a card I think will be interesting, too, because it's not an aggressive card at all. And that does feel like mostly what blue-white wants to do, but maybe there's a more controlling version. Thank you for the resub, Hefty Lefties. So, I mean, obviously we take 5 here. There's not any reason on Earth that we block. Okay. So they're just conceding, basically. I got you. Alright, well. I can't emote because of our disconnect. I can't believe we managed to win that game. Like, I did not think I was going to be back in time. I had already resigned myself to being 2-1 with a disconnect. But nope. Alright. Looks like a good hand. The only thing that would make it better is if we got one of our 1-drops. We didn't, but we have 2-drops and 3-drops galore. Equipment, an equipment payoff in our hand too, so... Definitely lead with Halberd, just because it's more likely to get in for damage, like, early. So yeah, we'll lead with Halberd, into War Whip, then Batter Fist. Trying Aspirant is interesting. I think we still go the same route here. Guess we'll see what they do when we attack. That may change my plans slightly. Nope. So we'll just play the War Whip here. They're going to cycle. Yeah, how does the animation not involve, like, a voice actor saying for Mirrodin? That's just... That seems like a mistake. Chittering Skitterling. That is some business. Okay, we still have a good attack with both. I mean, I can basically attack with both. Yeah, playing the Batter Fist doesn't really help us here. I mean, other than giving us another creature, which is obviously nice. Because equipping this would mean it would die in combat against the Skitterling, and then this would... Same thing. So, I think we just attack with both. They take 4, probably. I can't imagine they chump... Or they take it all. That works for me. So I think we play Aspirant into Crawling Chorus. Then next turn we can play this and equip it for free to something. Including our Menace creature, which is pretty good. Yeah, just like a Shout would have been fine. You're not wrong. Alright, a Might. So this is the first time we've really had to contend with high toughness creatures. Like, at all. And I don't like it. Okay, so I think we're probably... So, this still costs 4 to move. That's kind of annoying. That is kind of annoying. Kind of thinking about playing Batter Fist, equipping the Aspirant, and just swinging out. It's still 4 to move because it only changes the, yeah, it only changes the cost of other equipment, so. But yeah, then we can move this for free. definitely attack. Maybe that just wasn't worth doing, huh? I don't really have an attack here, so I think we actually just pass, play out our Lightbringer. And... yeah, I kind of like moving this here. I need some removal to allow us to punch through. Alright, so they could get an attack in here if they want to. I'm not sure they want to. Yeah, I don't think they want to. Okay. Well, so we got the Halberd. We can move it for 2 mana here. I think that's exactly what we want to do. Move it over here. So now it has Trample and First Strike. They have ways to block it, but they have to lose some things. Yeah, I could swing with the 2/2 double striker as well. Maybe I should have. Okay, so I think we probably kill both of these and let them hold on to the 3/4. I think killing the Powerful Payoff and the Toxic Enabler probably better. Yeah. Works for me. You would have to proliferate both. You don't actually have a choice, the way proliferate works. You don't have a choice over the counters, I should say. You obviously have a choice, but... okay. So I can move this for 4, which is certainly costly. I wonder if I'm just supposed to, like, swing out here and then play Skywarden. I think that seems... pretty good. They've only got 1 block that's, like, actually good. So, yeah. I guess I should probably move this onto something because it's free. In which case... I think we'll do this. We'll just get in with everything. Yeah, there have been like 2 resets, so it's been longer than you think. So that's a trade. They probably have something to make this worse for us. Okay, so they do get rid of that. That's not that bad for us, honestly. I think we like it. So yeah, let's play Skywarden now. That probably should do it. Alright, they do kill a thing. But yeah, that's not going to do it for him. So 1 white mana. I'm trying to decide if I have to move anything just to be safe. I'm just going to do that. Nice. Thank you for the sub, Prodigal Sorcerer. Well, the equipment deck is faring quite well so far. I mean, we got, what, 2 of the Signpost uncommon and most of the common and uncommon payoffs, so... I always think new formats are fun, so it's kind of hard to, like, basically any limited format is fun in the early days. It would have to be really miserable for it not to be, since you're still in, like, this discovery phase. So I think it's fun, but that may not mean anything for the long term of the format, is what I would say. Yeah, we don't have Jorkadine. We don't have any of the rare payoffs. All right. I forgot we have this guy who's pretty insane with equipment. I think we probably play Lookout first, though. It's a pretty good curve out, potentially. I don't think this deck has a rare we ended up playing at all, actually. So, yeah, this full video will go up, I think, on YouTube today. Probably it'll be a little while, since it always takes a while to process this video, and I won't do it until the stream's over. But late this evening-ish, this whole video will probably be up on YouTube. Okay. Let's play our Duelist. Ah. Well, we have a pretty good attack for this, thanks to our Free from Flesh. It may just take 3, but I think we're okay with that, because we'll just play Furnace Punisher and keep the party going. Wow, it's really annoying that that's going to trigger every upkeep. I mean, I know that it triggers, but I feel like it should be a little faster than that. Might be about to eat an Epic Confrontation, or whatever it's called in this set. You know, the other Epic Confrontation. So, yeah, Hexgold Hoverwings is good. I mean, we'll probably want to leave mana up this turn so we can cast Free from Flesh. This did end up being a pretty potent curve out from Lookout to Duelist to Furnace Punisher, which I think we like. All right, so they don't do anything. Just skip the... isn't there some way to skip the... the trigger? Okay, so this is a little awkward because our opponent has a bunch of mana up, and if I attack with everything here and try to use a trick, there's a very good chance I get blown out. So I think we have to be a little more cautious here. I think I only attack with Furnace Punisher. All right. Yeah, okay, we'll play our Hexgold Hoverwings now. I think there's a decent chance they have counter magic, and I could play around it a bit by playing like a cheap thing here, but I think we'll just go for it. Let them counter it if they can. Yeah, Deadly Predation, you are correct. Yep. So I'm glad I didn't attack. Would have been very bad. Three 1-mana cards in our hand. Give yourself a poison counter. Okay. How would I like to attack here? I think moving Hoverwings to the Menace creature is probably the right move. Yeah, so hit them for 4 more here. I can't block it. Play Crawling Chorus. And Cacophony Scamp. Doom Mover. So they can proliferate here if they want to, but I don't think they get anything for doing it, so why would they? They decided not to put a thing on top. Okay. So I can get this to 5 toughness and 6 power. That's not quite enough. It does sort of feel like just swinging out here is what we want to do. We just have so much going on. And we have the trick. You know, this can do damage to stuff. Like if they block it and they let me buff it. So I think we just swing out here. See what happens. Yeah, I mean, we'll be war whipping one way or another next turn, that's for sure. But I think putting them in this spot is pretty good. There are lots of good ways for me to use Free from Flesh. You know, if they get a little conservative about blocking here, we could just win. Alright, so you double block Furnace Punisher. What else do you do? Okay, so you are taking 3. How would I like to use Free from Flesh? Thinking about using it on Duelist of Deep Faith, killing Bone Picker Scourge here. Yeah, I think that works for me. I kill the Bone Picker Scourge. This'll die. That'll die. Yeah, they do hold on to their 4/5, but I'm not too alarmed by that. So we wipe out most of their board, drop them to 6. We are not proliferating. Then we play Bladehold War Whip. Look out for those oil counters. Not that I can actually do anything with them. Ooh, that is less than ideal, let's say. So if I put Hover Wings on the Double Striker, they have to block it. Or die. Yeah, so I think we go Hover Wings. Attack with that, attack with this. I think that's all this turn. Yeah. Drops them to 5. Then we're going to move the Hover Wings to Duelist of Deep Faith. End our turn. Man, a couple of pretty scary rares, but luckily neither of them have reach or flying, so we've been okay. Nice. Well, Everything's going pretty well so far. Yeah, double strike plus toxic is gross. Not that our deck really does anything with toxic, but if it did... Yeah, we haven't really seen a scary poison deck. Great hand. Really good 2-drop, really good 3-drop. This drops at some point for some action. Be 5 mana pretty easily for us. Don't you love it when you draw your 2-drop on turn... or your 1-drop on turn 2? Imagine the curve out. Our deck is sort of testing the idea, like, do you want to be playing Prophetic Prism on turn 2 in this format? I mean, against our deck, I think the answer is basically no. Alright, so you stop the creature. We don't have enough mana to move the War Whip, so we will not. And we'll play Crawling Chorus. So we need a mountain, or we can't play Oxida Finisher this turn, which is kind of a bummer. That is sweet, though. That's one, you know, that's one of the really sweet things you can do with Prophetic Prism. Okay. Well, I think we attack. If they block, we use Free from Flesh. If they don't block, we do 2 and then play Lightbringer. Do I just want to move the Halberd in this case? Probably. Ward is nice. Yeah. I think that's the right call. Prophetic Prism comes back, gets them some more value. I do like that Mandible Justicar as far as like aggressive little 2-drops go. Alright, we can play our Finisher now and Free from Flesh, which is nice. Okay, so could move the Double Strike over here. Like, that could be our play instead. It's not a terrible plan, but I don't really need to do it to really wreck them here, frankly. So I think I just attack with Lightbringer. Then we'll play our Finisher. Yeah. Would it that... Yeah, I guess that would have been a one-shot if they took it. I kind of doubt they would once it has Double Strike. But I guess it kind of had to, so that probably was the better play. Let's play a big Trampler. So we're almost out of gas. See what they do. If they're low enough on mana here, just moving, doing the Double Strike thing next turn is maybe worth it. Especially because of Ward. If they have a bunch of mana untapped, it's pretty... Oh, God. Look who it is. Well, alright. It's not very nice. Okay. So... How about that? So I can kill Vraska without a whole lot of effort here. This does cost a bunch to move, but it might just be lethal. If they... Depending on how they block and stuff. So yeah, we're going to move this here. We're going to attack them. And let's see what happens. I may have to kill Vraska with Rebel Salvo. Okay, so... You... don't do enough damage here. So we just go ahead and kill this thing, and then we'll kill Vraska with Rebel Salvo. Yeah. Seems like the plan. Treasure and Trample. I don't know how that would have been lethal. They had too much toughness. Salvo wouldn't have been lethal. And then we can't kill Vraska. Was it lethal? Were they at 12? Did I miss lethal that hard there? I might have. You guys are probably right, since so many of you are saying it. I was thinking it wouldn't trample for enough, because they had too much life. They were at 10, so yeah, I couldn't kill them. Yes, I could have. Yeah, you guys are right, of course. Missed lethal. Both Free from Flesh and the removal spell would have done it, yeah. And we knew they couldn't interact, so yeah, that was bad. And now they have 2 life linkers, so we may end up paying. We do have really good attacks now, is the bright side. Yeah, they're gonna attack, which I think makes sense. I think we go ahead and take it. I got a little distracted by having to kill Vraska, but in reality, I didn't have to kill her, so... Yep, and now they can deal with that, which is not good. We do deserve to lose at this point, so, you know. Okay. Well, guess I'm gonna do this again. I guess I could have saved it. Yeah, I'm just playing horrible now. Go me. So we're gonna do that. So I could also equip this, but then I'm out of mana for Free from Flesh. Yeah. I think we probably keep the chorus back because it blocks the Justicars so well. Okay, so we could drop them to 1 here if I used Free from Flesh, but obviously that's not really worth it. I think we'll go ahead and move this now. Don't love this, though, especially because I failed. I mean, I played so poorly. Yeah, now they have 2 Justicars. Good stuff. That are 3/2s that I can't really block. Now they're 4/2s. Alright. Yeah, Volt Charge is any target. So did I have lethal again there? Like, I could have used Free from Flesh and then Volt Charge them? No, I didn't have that much mana. So I do think we need to chump block at this point. Question is whether... Yeah... Would I rather just kill this thing? I'd probably rather just kill that thing. We'll take 10. I guess we're gonna need to, you know... kill these things. Hope they stop drawing artifacts. I mean, if they stop drawing artifacts, we'll be fine, but... You know... Okay. We're just going to do this again. Then we're going to play the Enforcer. It's going to take some juice, but they do have the logbook to draw cards, so they could have it. Spell Bomb. Okay, yeah, they can bounce something here. God. This is what I envision Justicar's doing, and I think we're dead. Yeah, we're dead. We deserve to lose. I mean, there's not really much more that can be said about it. Other than that, we deserve to lose this game because I played so poorly. Had, you know, missed lethal is like the worst possible thing to do, and I did it especially against a couple of life linkers. Good old lifelink. But it was interesting, you know, every draft in the early going of the format, even if it goes horribly, you do tend to learn something. And that game, I mean, the Justicars did what I envisioned them doing in the format. Just getting huge and being very difficult to block on a lot of boards. I was definitely unnecessarily aggressive, I guess. Like, just leaving back our 2/2 would have been good. I mean, if they didn't have bounce there that happened to be an artifact, you know, so it buffed both of them and got my 4/4 out of the way, like, it wouldn't have been nearly as bad, but... Alright. Solid hand. Weirdly, we don't have any equipment, but we are going first and decent enough curve out. How many times have I drawn Crawling Chorus on turn 2? Feels like a lot. Here's some equipment. So yeah, we'll attack with Duelist of Deep Faith. Does have First Strike, so I'm not sure why they blocked. But I'll take it. Play the Aspirant so we can get some menace going. You can also play Batter Fist and equip it next turn, which is kind of good because you play this for 1, and then you equip this for free, and it's a 3/2 menace now, and I have a 2/2. Seems pretty good. That Vorak is pretty good. Such a good common. Oh yeah, so we can go Batter Fist. We do have to pay the 1 to equip it to Duelist of Deep Faith. But maybe that's just worth it here. It probably is. Yeah. And we attack with both of these for 5. Play the Chorus. That is a big one. Okay. Well, it does stop us from attacking. For now. Let's play our big creature. This is a fun Blastoderm callback. Yeah, that's not good. Though, they can't be that aggressive attacking is the good news for us. Ooh, hello. Flying is exactly what the doctor ordered. So, yeah, we'll play Hexgold Hover Wings. We move it to the Aspirant. Attack for 3 in the air. Guess I could have moved this, too, to hit for 1 more. It feels like this payoff is going to be worth it in this format, and this one is a little less impressive, which is kind of what I figured. Fires of Yavimaya Blastoderm, yeah. Those were the good old days. Fading creatures. Fires of Yavimaya is such a funny card. Like, today it wouldn't really be that good. But it wasn't really that good back then either. It was just so happened to synergize like perfectly with yeah, that's a bummer. With that, however, is not a bummer. It synergized perfectly. What I'm trying to say is synergized perfectly with fading, so it worked pretty well. So we can't kill this right now, obviously. It is about to lose a counter. So the question is basically, do I wait to kill this, or do I use it now so my menace creature can get in? This is going to die eventually anyway, and my menace creature can get in right now if I Rebel Salvo. So I think we kill the Vorak here. Yeah. So let's kill the Vorak. Move this for free. Attack them for 3. Play Lightbringer in the turn. So it's no longer hexproof, but it has trample. Okay. So they do have a blocker now, obviously. But if I move this here... we have a pretty good attack. 5. So they have 2 blockers. I have Volt Charge. I have 2 mana. I think we attack here with everything. All right, let's see what happens. All right, so yeah, we'll just finish it with Volt Charge. Sure. Have another poison counter while we're at it. All right, we recovered from the game where I played awful for a 6th win. Yeah, I mean, I think if you have an aggressive curve and you get as many equipment payoffs as you do, as we did, makes for a pretty good deck. You know, we're 1 draft in. You can't assume anything, really, but the deck is pretty good, I think. Ooh. No 1-drop or 2-drop. I mean, I think we keep it still, but it is not so good. And we draw another 3. Are we about to get out aggroed? I mean, maybe. We may be about to see... oh my god. We may be about to see a toxic deck go off. A toxic aggro deck playing this thing. Like, if they play their Signpost here, this is going to hurt. They do not. Yeah, we'll probably draw the chorus now. Nope, but we did draw a 2-drop on turn 3, so there you go. In this particular situation, like, I normally would play Bladehold War Whip, but I think I have to get a blocker down to trade with Branch Blight Stalker, and with Ward 2 is on the Lightbringer, I think we're far more likely to be able to do that. So for the first time today, we're sort of the ones on the back foot in the early game, which I don't love. The Ward makes it harder for them to kill it. Double Strike does eat the Stalker, but if they have removal and attack us again there, like, oh no. Or do that, we are in a lot of trouble. Yeah, so we're eating the Infect here. Do I trade for Ickerspit Basilisk? I don't think so. I do know that War Whip has Double Strike, but the reason I wanted the ward out there is because of removal, not for any other reason. So we play our War Whip here. Yeah, we are getting beat down by the green-white toxic aggro deck here, which is a good thing to see it. I mean, you know, again, like I said, you're learning at this early stage of the format, you know, how your evaluations look. And right now, the green-white aggro deck, oh my god. Yeah, so now they play Porcelain Zealot. Oh, man. All right, so... blocking is so bad here. We're just going to take it. We're probably about to lose to poison. So the good news is with Charge of the Mites, I'll be able to kill the Zealot, and I think that's probably what we want to do. Because the Zealot really enables all kinds of nonsense from them. Yeah, double block would have been very bad because it would have killed them both. We're going to do this now so there's not like a trick that ruins our lives or anything. And don't really think we can afford to attack. But now we have to find a way to get in the way of the Raptor before it infects us. But by destroying the little, the thing that was buffing everything, I at least end up in a situation... Uh-oh. Okay. Could be worse. Okay, no, it's pretty bad. Can only play one thing here, and we're at 8 poison. Every one of their creatures has infect, so we're dead. We'll let them kill us with infect. Enjoy the infect kill. Yeah, we had a slow start, but man, I don't even know if we hadn't had a slow start. Yeah, 5 life too, that's true. We can survive at 5 life though. If it weren't for poison here, we'd be dead. Instead of just in horrible shape. Let me go ahead and line up our blockers that can't actually accomplish anything. And... we die to poison. Yep. See, if poison wasn't a problem there, we could stabilize, potentially. They still have a flyer with 2 power, and we're at 2, so maybe not, but... Hail Phyrexia, yeah. That is sort of what that match was, I guess. Phyrexia versus the Mirrans. Hey, they did win 1 turn earlier. Like, if I top deck a flyer or removal there, I would have stabilized. Which, again, like, the chances of that aren't super high. But if I did that, I had a chance. But the chance wasn't even offered to me because of poison. So it definitely mattered there. I mean, and it put a different kind of pressure on me, too, in terms of blocking and stuff. So... but yeah, I do think the green-white deck is interesting because it can do a lot of damage, period, regardless of infect. Toxic, rather. I think decks like black-green and blue-green are going to win more often with Toxic maybe than green-white. Because they're like grindier and have like big creatures with high toxic values and they have proliferate. So for them, they can sort of hang back and infect you, whereas the green-white deck has to attack you. So... which also means you're taking damage, so... oof. So yeah, we gotta send this back. I mean, it's not the worst hand ever because of the halberd, but there's too much we need for it to work out. Like, 1 plains doesn't solve this problem. I mean, it kinda does, I guess. 1 plains does make a difference here. But man... I need that 1 plains for far too much in my hand, I think. All right, this is much better. I think we put away the Lightbringer. Look at this. We got our turn 1 Crawling Chorus. So we're at least going to go 6-3 here. We would be at 7 wins if I hadn't thrown that one game away. But hey, what are you going to do? We do have like an Infect hand. Toxic hand. Poison hand, I guess I should say. Do they have Hex Gold Slash? They do. Yep. Yep. Oh, look, it's our friend from earlier. Oh, man. I think we'd probably attack, because blocking and using our trick is just so bad that, I don't think I can afford to do it. Like, block, use the trick, and hope they don't have removal is... Yep. So they're a red-white aggro deck, too. We would have actually liked this card. We passed one early when it wasn't clear what deck exactly we would end up in. Oh, boy. All right, so we're going to play Hover Wings here and pass, I think. Hope that they can't attack us, but they probably can. They'll probably play an artifact here and rumble. In which case, I think I probably block one of them. Okay, they did not play an artifact. I like that. I need to draw something that isn't a land. Well, we're in a horrible spot here. Like, we're not good at blocking any of this stuff. I could attack because of that fact, but... Yeah, here comes a Dune Mover to buff the things. I think I'm going to end up having to use Free From Flesh as like a defensive trick, which is awful. But I think that's kind of what we're going to need to do, is block a Justicar, use Free From Flesh. Ooh, they're not even going to let me do that. Well... Okay, yeah, they hit our token. Blocking and using it there is even worse, so... I mean, do I have to do it? Kind of feels like I have to do it. Awful. I love getting 2 for 1. I mean... It's a little less than a 2 for 1 because we get a Might, but that's funny. It is funny we drew another one. These last 2 games have been kind of miserable for us after every other game kind of going our way. But that happens. Ooh, yeah. I mean, Hex Gold Slash is some business. So they can hit us for 8 here without doing anything else, and they may be able to do something else, so... Alright, well 6-3 is good. Punted 1 game away to... What's happening? Oh, they're proliferating. But, yeah, I mean, I think overall we saw that this deck is pretty good. We got a lot of synergy. We got a lot of the best cards for the deck. So, you know, 6-3, not a bad place to start.